So very good afternoon. We welcome Mr. Gyanendra Kumar on the Indian ESG Network Talking Series. These series are meant to bring experts and industry experts or ESG experts in different areas of sustainability and ESG. So Mr. Gyanendra Kumar is an entrepreneur, a mentor, researcher, educationist, and a sustainability expert with more than 10 years of experience in consultancy, research, education, and construction. He has proven expertise in life cycle assessment, green building design, waste management, material testing, optimization techniques, and project management. He is a recognized construction product life cycle assessment specialist, CII-Certified Professional in Resource Efficiency and Environment Sustainability, and an ASSOCHAM Green and Eco-Friendly Movement Certified Professional. So that's a lot of technical professions that you have.
Thank you.
Badges under your expertise. So, Mr. Gyanendra, you are a life cycle assessment expert, and that requires a lot of technical expertise. So, we would like to understand what exactly is life cycle assessment and why, with the onset of ESG, is it really more important in times of today, and why? So, if you could elaborate a bit on that.
Okay. First of all, I really want to thank you for discussing the topic life cycle assessment, which is a need of the hour topic, and everybody should know about it. And about the question that is, what is life cycle assessment and why is it needed? So, life cycle assessment involves the evaluation of some aspects, often the environmental aspects of a product system through all stages of the life cycle, sometimes also called life cycle analysis. Life cycle approach, that is cradle to grave analysis or eco balance. It represents a rapidly emerging family of tools and techniques designed to help in environmental management and longer term a sustainable development. And why it is needed? LCA thus permits us to quantify impacts and make better environmental decisions, all by taking quantifiable calculations and environmental impacts at the different stages of producing the products or a service. Stakeholders may understand what changes to make at the distinct stages or the different stages of a product or a service to improve environmental outcomes, and overall they take a decision to tell whether a product or a service is environmental friendly or not.
Okay, great. So you mean that at different stages we calculate the emissions or the waste impact or the water impact of the entire product life cycle, so that we know what is the environment impact on for the entire, from the start to the end of any product.
Yes, during the lifetime of the product or services.
Okay. So what are the key stages of any life cycle assessment? I mean, what stages do we assess when we do this?
Actually, there are various stages in conducting life cycle assessment. First stage is we have to set some goals and scope, and that is very much defined by the client only, and they should know, or they should realize that how and when and how much impact they are going to calculate or tell to the people or to the public, so that they can specifically tell that their product and services are eco-friendly or not.
So it can be a product, or it can be the entire organization, or all products. It can vary, the scope you're saying. It can vary from organization to organization.
Yeah, obviously. Okay. Actually, if it is a service provider, then it is very much based on the services itself. Or if it is based on product, then it is very much specific to product sustainability.
Okay. And when we typically do this analysis, what kind of challenges do we face? Because there's a lot of data involved, and do organizations have the data? How does it work?
Yes. Actually, what happened is in recent years, there was previously there was health, safety, and environment. So it was there previously also, but it has been updated to ESG, that is environmental, social, and governance.
Right.
Now, people, they need to know what is the difference between HSE or ESG.
Right.
So there is a predominantly difference between these things. ESG is very much related to environmental sustainability, which evolves during the life cycle of that product. Because if we want to comment on a you may say sustainability of a product or services, then we should know that what is the impact of that product or services during the lifetime of those things. Because we cannot decide if we are having or we know the impacts of a product or services during the, you may say, manufacturing only, then we cannot comment that it is sustainable or not. So it is very much new to the industry, so they need to develop that capacity first. So they are facing that problem also. So I do my PhD in sustainability only. So there are a dearth of you may say sustainability experts also, and majorly on life cycle assessment only. So they are you may say facing a challenge of technical know-how.
Right. So are there any standards or regulations that help in this, or ISO standards which define how to conduct it?
Yeah, they are laid standards. Actually, life cycle assessment is conducted or performed according to ISO standards only. And ISO standards is varies from ISO 14040 to 14044. Okay, it is very much related to the standards, the process that is involved in calculating the you may say environmental impact category and their impacts. So it is very much a streamlined process according to ISO standards only.
Okay. And when we typically do a life cycle assessment, is it within the purview of the organization, or because the product can come from suppliers? So do we need to start from that stage, or the raw material also is first coming in? So it'll be at various stages. Now, certain data will be within the organization, certain will be outside. So how are the organizations meeting those challenges? Because you are already implementing LC in a couple of companies. Yeah.
We are actually, I'm also facing that issue only with the industries and with the you may say clients. Actually, there are so many stages of a product or a service. Initial, it can be the from the mines or the extraction of the raw materials till to the grave of that, or you may say disposal of that material. Or if you want to bring that you may say disposed material into the circularity, so you need employ circular economy in that. Okay, so there are so many stages, but on the other hand, there are three scopes: scope 1, scope 2, scope 3. Whereas scope 1 is in the direct control of the client or the industry, whereas scope 2 is in the direct control, but they cannot you may say control the supplier or the client which is generating those you may say product or services. Whereas scope 3, client is not having any control or any direct control over the resources or over the you may say functionality of that product or services. So there are so many issues are there. You need to if you really want to do a life cycle assessment, or you may say you really want to know the environmental impact of a product or services, then it should be started from cradle till grave, or it can be cradle to cradle also. Because in that way, that disposed product or that the product which is going to dispose, that can be bring into circular economy easily. So these are the challenges companies should think about it. They need to incorporate supply chain you may say client also in calculating these scope 3 emissions.
In terms of data, when we say that a lot of data requirements are there, can you elaborate a bit in terms of inventory? What kind of
Yeah.
data do we require at various stages?
Yes. Actually, there are for LCA, for conducting any kind of LCA, it may be simplified, it may be you may say generic, or it may be you may say in-depth LCA. For conducting any kind of LCA, you need to know the inputs and outputs. There are two processes, two you may say things are there, that is input or output. In input, you need to know what are the different kind of resources that are going to be involved in input, and what are those you may say products or the end product which is going to be generated from that raw material. And between these, there are different processes are involved during you may say refining of raw material, manufacturing of raw material, and dispatch of the end products.
Right.
So there are different processes are there, and in different processes there are some resources used, and there are some emissions there will be there, and some wastage will also be there in different kind of processes. So you need to do some life cycle inventory for that thing. So you need to make an inventory analysis, whereas you should note down the resources, or you may say natural resources involved during the production of that end products, or you need to find out the emissions which are there, which are being generated, which are being emitted during the production of that product, and the waste which are going to air, land, or water. So you need to identify those and make an inventory for this and do the life cycle analysis.
Okay, great. So typically, any assessment, how much time does it take? Maybe for a single product, what is the average time you've seen normally?
Actually, it depends. It depends on the functionality, or you may say the management of the you may say company, which is proactive or not, or the complexity of the data that we are going to you may say collect, or we are going to manage the life cycle inventory. So it depends on the client, it depends on the company, that which is proactive or not.
Okay, but suppose the data is available.
Generally
Yeah.
it may take, but generally it may take, if it is cradle to grave, then it may take 90 to you may say 180 days.
Okay.
Yes.
And generally, what is the sample size that we take? I mean, is it defined with of course, with the management, what sample size to assess? But typically, what is a good sample size which you normally suggest while doing this? Yeah.
Actually, it is not basically the sample size. The life cycle will not depend on the sample size. It is very much specific to the you may say quality of the collected data. It is very much depend on the quality of the collected data, and the you may say the certainty of that data, that whether it is correct or not,
Accuracy. Yeah.
the way it is being collected, or the collected data which is being used for calculating the environmental impact assessment. Actually, your end results are very much dependent on your input data. And that input data should be very much you may say correct, or it should be analyzed, it should be validated, and then utilized.
And what kind of challenges do you see in that entire study when you're doing with various organizations, starting from the management understanding the relevance, to the governance, to the accuracy, to the data, everything? Just broad understanding of challenges which you're facing today.
Actually, I can say one of the main challenge was the technical know-how. There is dearth of technical know-how, because the data which is being collected for calculating the life cycle assessment, if it is not correct, or if it is not collected according to the procedure as per the standard code, So there is no validity of that results, or there is no you may say validity of the those life cycle assessment study. So they need to first train their staff. They need to know what is life cycle assessment is all about. What are the you may say standards which are very much relevant throughout the world, and most the proactive approach of the you may say company,
Right. So
because they
when
are
you,
taking it
yeah,
lightly, or they are actually they are not bound to you may say they are not mandatory to
right.
do the life cycle assessment. But nowadays BRSR ESG reporting also emphasized on life cycle assessment, and all
Yeah.
other internationally recognized ESG reporting, that is GRI or ISSB, that is S1 S2 reporting, also emphasizing on the life cycle assessment.
Yeah, because a good analysis of the product will only, really throw light on the BRSR in terms of what wastage are we generating, in
Yeah,
terms
rightly
of
said.
water, what are we doing, the emissions, which we are doing. So BRSR has clearly, even the core BRSR is further detailing the environment parameters in more detail.
Yes, yes.
So as a prerequisite, I think organizations will be needed to do this life cycle assessment so that they can start improving at various stages, where the
Yeah.
emissions can be reduced, or where innovations can be brought in, or where a change in
Yes,
the
yes, yes.
entire cycle can be done. So it
Yes,
is
yes.
actually a proactive approach if organizations start the sustainability steps today.
Yeah, now they are now emphasized by different department also. They are now being regulated by policies or the government initiatives also. So they need to follow their there are some mandatory things that they have to uh, emphasize on and represent.
Yeah, so top 1000 listed companies, anyways, the BRSR is compulsory.
Hmm.
And gradually, even the
Yes.
value chain will be compulsory in the coming 1 or
Yeah,
2
right.
years. So, yeah. So it will be a key requirement for companies to start the assessment. So, what would your suggestion be? Any company that has to maybe report next year, when should they start the life cycle assessment? What is the readiness that they can do to, when they know that, yes, now we are on the sustainability journey, we have to do reporting maybe next year, 24, 25. What do we do today? What would your suggestion be as a readiness? What can organizations do?
Actually, Punita, according to me, life cycle assessment is not a one-day journey.
Right.
It is a long-term process, because if we are going to you may say highlight our life cycle assessment, or you may say environmental impact assessments in one report, then we need to carry on for the second or third year also for the same,
Absolutely.
because
Right.
then only we can know, or we can find out what is the progress of our you may say the reporting, or what are those things that we need to work on to reduce the environmental impacts. So we need to have a you may say holistic approach first, and after following the holistic approach, it should be a long term initiative also.
Right.
And they should as BRSR reporting is concerned, one company need to you may say do the life cycle assessment more continuous 2 years, because until and unless we are not doing the continuous reporting for 2 years, then we will not be knowing what will be the effect of the initiatives that we laid to you may say reduce or implement some innovative technologies to reduce that environmental impacts. That can only be known when we are doing a constant you may say continuous improvement, or you may say kaizen followed. So we
Absolutely.
need to have a proactive approach, and a long term aim or goal.
Very true. I think I totally agree because 2 to 3 years will only start giving you data in a more accurate way, and then
Yeah, right.
actions can be done. And then there'll be comparatives also. So,
Yeah.
sector wise comparisons will be available. Within the company, there'll be comparisons. So, yes, I totally agree that it has to be. I mean, I think it's a continuous process. somebody as an organization, if they are getting into sustainability journey, they will have to make a long roadmap plan that, okay, this year these two products, maybe I look at the LCA, next year maybe these 2 or 3 products. So they can even make a long-term roadmap plan and start changing or
Actually,
reducing.
according to me, Punita, the company involved in reporting ESG things, they need not to show the report, or you may say prepare the report for the sake of you may say reporting only. They need
Absolutely.
to keep you may say they need to have a you may say environmental sustainability should be incorporated in their you may say day to day
Day to
work
day.
also.
Absolutely.
So if they follow this approach, then only we can think of doing a you may say we can think that we are moving in the right direction.
Yeah, because sustainability is not a one-time thing. It's a
Yeah.
new way of living, a new way to
Yes,
survive.
yes,
I
rightly
think
said.
organizations which will move on this journey will thrive and survive
Yeah.
because resources are depleting. If you see the
Yes.
natural resources, they are depleting day by day, and
Yeah.
the demand is increasing so much that even the earth is now saturated in terms of providing.
Yes, yes.
So only
They
those
need to understand that
organizations will survive.
your livelihood is dependent on the resources only, and
Absolutely.
whatever you are doing, you will have the consequences for that only.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, in terms of training, because you touched upon that point, and many people I connect to, they say, "What is the right training? Where do we take training?" And then there's so much in ESG, like social governance. What is your suggestion to people that where should they be trained for this specific skill if they want to really go ahead with this training?
Actually, I was thinking for the I was also waiting, and I was also thinking about the same question.
Mhm. Right.
Uh, the training should be according to me, the ESG, or you may say life cycle assessment, or you may say environmental sustainability training should be very much based on research and real case studies. Because if you are going to comment on sustainability, if you are going to comment on environmental impact, or if you are going to comment on life cycle assessment, then you need to do a in-depth research first.
Mhm.
Because without research we cannot think, or we cannot comment on sustainability, according to me. Because if we are not knowing what will be the impact of the resources, of the natural resources that we are using to produce some kind of material or some kind of products, and that can only be known by doing some kind of research only. So we need to conduct a you can may say the trainings which is very much case study based, real case study based,
Mhm. Right.
or it should be, I may say, on the job training. Because
Mhm.
by reading only, by having theoretical classes, you cannot you may think what will be the application of that knowledge. So according to me, it should be a apply kind of you may say training, or it should be a on the job training.
Okay. And when you implement the LCA in companies, then you are directly in touch with ESG heads or supply chain, or which part of the organization supports these initiatives more, where you engage more.
Actually, top management is a decision taking authority.
Right.
Whatever approach they are going to implement, or they are going to initiate, then that can only be initiated by some kind of relevant you may say authority or relevant guy.
Mm-hmm.
And those approaches according to me are being initiated by relevant people only, that who is very much related to environment, or you may say who knows what will be the impact of sustainability, how they that can be incorporated in you may say product or services to reduce the environmental impact. And for it should be what is the importance of this initiative for the survival of the society also.
Mm-hmm.
So actually according to me, in a company, management is only taking a decision taking authority,
Right.
but somehow the HOD are the one who are taking those initiatives.
Okay. So basically, ESG heads or plant heads would be
Yes,
the
yes.
one. Okay. So how will people become more aware about this, and what is the future that you see?
Actually, ma'am, according to me, sustainability is very much related to the lifestyle only. Uh, Nowadays, what we are doing is we are purchasing so many things. We are purchasing so many items that are you may say one time use only.
Right.
We were more sustainable earlier, but now we are not. We are moving to the other direction. Otherwise, because sustainability as such, as per the layman language, is very much related to the circularity only. If we are able to you may say bring the product into the circularity, you may say, or in the circular economy, then we are contributing to the sustainability, or we are contributing to the sustainable development.
Right.
What will be the recyclability of a material? What is the reuse of that material at the end of its life? How that material, if it is not being reused or recycled, then how that material or the product is bring back into the circularity mode? What will be the process involved in this in those things? So I can say is कि recyclable value or the reuse ability of that product defines the sustainability of that product or service. And if we comment on the you may say the sustainability which is very much relevant to the individual, then we have to follow the each and every step of our life. And we have to think कि if we are purchasing or if we are consuming a you may say resource, then what will be the impact on our future generations of this resource, of the consumption of these resources. If it is, if it will be you may say there in the on the earth as a disposed material, if that material is having some recycled value, if that material can be brought into circularity or what. So we need to think over over these few things. Yeah.
I think it is a great piece of advice, because I see so many companies who can start circularity much faster, so that there's less plastic in the environment. And so many companies are doing clothes, bringing back into circular, or shoes. But there's so much plastic generation of bottles and various forms, which organizations can immediately start to at least reuse or recycle and reuse both. And it can really
ना ये
reduce.
लाइफ साइकिल जो लाइफस्टाइल है ना हमारी, इस पे डिपेंड करता है। क्योंकि पहले आपने देखा होगा को जो ब्रश होता था हमारा टूथब्रश, वो अगर खराब भी होता था तो हम बोतल वगैरह साफ करने के लिए यूज करते हैं, अभी भी करती हैं लेडीज।
Yes. So as a last piece of advice, because you are into sustainability, what is your piece of advice? Because the whole LCA, the way I see is कि what are you taking from nature and what are you giving back to nature? ये equation अगर आपकी सही है तो you will thrive. और अगर ये equation imbalance है तो
what you are giving in between also.
Absolutely.
And what you are during the manufacturing use and end use also, what you are giving to the environment.
Exactly. Yeah. So this equation, I feel, is what we are trying to balance within organizations through these assessments. So
Yes.
any piece of advice you have before we wind up today's session, and anything you would like to share finally with all companies or sustainability people?
Yeah, I can only say is कि we should be we should follow we should change our lifestyle first, and we should think before doing anything, because each and every action of ours will have some negative or positive impact on the, you may say, resources or environment. And second, we should know, or we should study about sustainability. We should aware about sustainability, and some kind of you may say technical knowledge should also be given to the relevant people who are dealing with manufacturing or production of materials. And last but not least, we should be we should follow sustainable approaches.
Mhm. Great. So thanks a lot, Mr. Gyanendra. I think it was full of gyan, your session. A lot of knowledge, and I'm sure it is going to help people. And if people have any questions, I'm sure they can get in touch with you and clarify around this subject.
Yes.
And we'll keep doing various sessions with experts just to bring out more about ESG and share with people.
Yeah.
So thanks a lot for being part of the Indian ESG network and being
Thank
part
you.
of this series. We really
Thank
thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Thank you.